Hello, I'm Deborah Flurkey. This video clip will demonstrate a content area strategy for teaching literacy after instruction occurs. This strategy is called tossed terms. The benefit of this strategy is twofold. One, it offers students an opportunity to review, and it can be used as a method of helping students learn the essential terms in your subject area. Research on learning vocabulary has clearly shown that students need multiple exposures to words and concepts before developing meaningful and long-lasting understandings. All educators are frustrated when students wait to study until the night before the test. They use their short-term memory to learn just enough to pass the test and then promptly forget most of what they crammed in at the last moment. Then there are the students who never speak up in class. They nod their head during instruction and then have no questions when the teacher asks. These are the quiet ones who do not wish to either display their ignorance or just prefer to learn passively. How do we reach these students? Well, we use a strategy that combines a novel format that reinforces understanding and randomly requires participation from everyone. Okay, let's look at the strategy. It appears on page 123 of your text, 50 Content Area Strategies for Adolescent Literacy. Tossed terms involves terms and ideas that teachers traditionally have placed in study guides. Terms and ideas from your subject area are literally written on the 6 surfaces of a small box and then pitched back and forth among small groups of students sitting in a tight circle. The terms on the box are then used as prompts for questions and for recalling important content. Well, begin by preparing several hand-sized boxes. I found this one at a local hobby store. I wanted it to be sturdy enough to stand up to hard use, so I've taped the seams in the corners so it won't come open. You could certainly recycle other boxes or make your own. Student helpers or parents could take care of covering any product or mailing labels with construction paper or contact paper. Take a finished tape box that has clean surfaces and attach your typewritten text. Now, the terms can be either content terms or process terms. Content terms will have your key specific vocabulary, such as exponent, reduce, algorithm, bisect. Process terms have words like analyze, but describe, contrast, exemplify, compare. Boxes with process terms can be used any time of the year because they can apply to all of your units of study. But no matter whether you use content terms or process terms, they both allow for review and encourage students to think about what they've learned in meaningful ways. I suggest thinking about ways to reuse boxes. Well, one way is to paste little plastic sleeves to the 6 sides. Here's one way, okay? Flashcards with your review terms can be written and inserted and removed, and when you're done, take them out. Once they're made and the terms inserted, students are ready to review with them. Well, for these smaller boxes, which used to hold candles, I inserted the terms, having written them on paper, just like this. The pattern for this is in your strategy book. Form small groups with no more than 4 students. Have the students sit in a tight circle so the boxes are not just thrown, but they're tossed a very short distance. I call this setting the students up for success, meaning I've headed off behavior problems before they began. Small groups will also ensure that everyone is actively engaged, even your quiet students. Now, before you begin, review the process of using the boxes with your students. Now, with content vocabulary, one student tosses the box to another one, who must then explain the term that landed on top. Explain how it relates to the content area. Train the students, if they are the tosser, to ask the catcher to either define the word, use it correctly in a sentence, or explain how it works. For example, if the word on top, when it was caught, was mean, the student who caught it might say, a mean is the average of a set of numbers. If the tosser asks, use the mean in a sentence, the other team members would listen to the answer, and they would have to determine whether it was used correctly. Or the tosser could ask, how do you find the mean of a set of numbers? The answer might be, you find the mean of several numbers by adding them up and dividing them by the number of numbers you have. With process terms, on the other hand, the word facing up serves as a prompt for a question about the content word. You use two boxes. For example, if the process word that comes up is explain, the student who caught the box might be asked by the tosser, explain how you would find the mean of the numbers 2, 3, and 7. Again, the team members would be responsible for the answer's accuracy and to make corrections if needed. You continue as long as the review is being helpful. You will need to monitor the groups to make sure they are staying on task and to clarify any misconceptions. Alternately, 2 teams of 4 could play against each other using 2 toss term boxes. One box would have mathematical process terms and the second one would have numbers. Students would compete in teams to solve various problems. Team 1 would roll 2 boxes. The students who rolled would call upon a person from Team 2 to use the process and the number to solve a problem. For example, the process box might say solve, and the content box might have the word X. There we go. Then Team 2 members can huddle and confer with one another before one spokesman answers. If the answer is incorrect, no point is awarded, and Team 2 must then roll the boxes for Team 1. Points are only given for correct answers. A team continues to answer questions and solve problems until giving an incorrect response. Now, here is your assignment, teachers. Create your own closed terms box and list of content terms and process terms that you would use in your own classroom. When completed, send it to me, dflurkey@endstate.edu. I will assign a plus, a check, or a minus, depending on how much effort you have applied. I will then forward that grade to one of the Thinking Through the Text directors. How will I grade? Well, to earn a plus, teach a lesson using the toss term strategy to your students. Send me the skill or concept being reviewed, the lists of content terms, process terms that you created, and a short reflection on how the lesson went and the students' reactions. To earn a check, send the skill or concept that would be reviewed using toss term strategy, the lists of content terms and process terms that you created, and a short reflection on why you chose this particular literacy strategy. To earn a minus, send your mathematical skill or concept that would be taught using toss terms, and the lists of your content terms and process terms you created. If you would like to see the rubric I will use, you can view the file titled Rubric for Tossed Terms. It's sometimes hard to let students do activities they aren't used to for fear things will get out of hand. Am I right? Well, just establish the rules and stick to them. Remember that students need lots of opportunities to use your key math terms in meaningful ways if you want them to have deeper learning and have learning that it's remembered past the day of the test. Your students who never talk in class are going to be more willing to participate in a small group. Your weaker students will benefit from the group's knowledge by hearing the content from their peers as well as from you. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see some highly engaged students and some higher test scores. Thank you.